Stop. What if the most powerful leaders in the world don't promise freedom? They engineer order, not chaos, not noise, precision. Because when a system is built correctly, people don't resist it, they depend on it.
Power is not given. It is taken, it moves in silence. It controls perception. Psychology of power. Master the mind, control the game.
The psychology of engineered power. What if the most powerful leaders in the world are not the ones who promise freedom, but the ones who design order? Not through force alone, not through noise, but through systems so precise, they make behavior predictable. Because chaos feels like movement, but movement without structure rarely creates progress. And progress requires something most people resist: discipline. Before Kuan Yew transformed Singapore into one of the most efficient systems on Earth, there was no dominance. There was vulnerability, a small island, limited resources, no strategic depth, surrounded by uncertainty. And uncertainty is where weak systems collapse. Because without structure, there is no direction. And without direction, there is no control. He did not respond emotionally. He did not chase popularity. He did not build speeches. He built systems because he understood something fundamental. People are unpredictable, but systems are not. If you try to control people directly, you create resistance. But if you design the environment correctly, behavior becomes predictable. And predictable behavior creates stability at scale. This is the first principle: indirect control, not forcing action, shaping conditions, so that action becomes inevitable. Because when systems are aligned correctly, people don't need to be controlled. They follow patterns, and patterns can be designed through incentives, through rules, through structure. Incentives guide decisions. Decisions guide behavior. Behavior creates outcomes at scale. This is not loud power. It does not demand attention. It does not dominate headlines. It builds silently. And what is built silently often lasts longer because it does not depend on momentum. It depends on structure, and structure sustains itself. Most leaders try to control perception first. He controlled systems because perception can shift. But systems define outcomes, and outcomes define long-term power. People do not follow ideas. They follow results. And results require consistency, not occasional success. Continuous performance. And continuous performance requires discipline. Not personal discipline alone. System-wide discipline. Consistency across every level. Because inconsistency creates cracks, and cracks expand under pressure, over time, until they break the system. So everything must align: law, economy, education, behavior, incentives, all reinforcing the same direction, because direction creates momentum. Momentum creates stability. Stability creates power, but stability comes at a cost, because control always limits something: freedom, variation, unpredictability. So the question becomes, what are you willing to trade for stability? Because absolute freedom creates chaos, but absolute control limits freedom. So the system must balance, not perfectly, strategically. Because imbalance creates tension, and tension creates resistance. And resistance threatens the system. So the balance must be maintained, continuously, relentlessly, through calibration, through adjustment, through awareness. Because power at this level is not static. It is managed, every day, at every layer. And this is where most systems fail, not in design, in maintenance. Because building power is difficult. Maintaining it is harder. Over time, complexity increases, more variables, more pressure, more risk. And complexity is the hidden threat. Because the more complex a system becomes, the harder it is to predict. And the harder it is to predict, the harder it is to control. So complexity must be structured, organized, aligned. Because aligned systems are resilient. They absorb pressure. They adapt. They continue. And continuity is the true measure of power. Not how fast you rise, but how long you sustain. Because time reveals everything. Weak systems collapse. Inconsistent structures break. Unstable leadership fades. But disciplined systems endure. Because they are not reactive. They are designed, layer by layer, until they become self-sustaining. And once a system becomes self-sustaining, power no longer depends on constant effort. It becomes embedded in behavior, in culture, in expectation. And embedded power is the hardest to challenge, because it is no longer visible, but it is still controlling everything. This is the second layer, normalization. When the system becomes natural, when behavior becomes automatic, when control becomes invisible. Because what feels natural is not questioned, it is accepted. And acceptance is the strongest form of control, because it requires no enforcement. It sustains itself. But no system exists in isolation. External pressure grows, global interaction increases, comparisons emerge. And comparison creates awareness, and awareness creates friction. So the system must adapt, not dramatically, precisely, because too much change creates instability. Too little change creates rigidity, and rigidity breaks under pressure. So evolution must be controlled, guided, measured, aligned. Because once alignment is lost, power fragments, not instantly, gradually, until the system can no longer sustain itself. This is where leadership becomes calibration. Adjusting signals, adjusting responses, adjusting structure without breaking it. Because power at this level is not dominance, it is equilibrium, maintaining control while adapting to reality. And reality always pushes back, through time, through pressure, through change. So the system must anticipate, not react. Shape conditions, not chase outcomes. Because when conditions are shaped correctly, outcomes become predictable. This is the difference. Influence is temporary. Structure is permanent. Influence changes behavior for a moment. Structure changes behavior. Over time. At scale. But every system has limits. Because pressure accumulates. Internally. Externally. Through complexity. Through time. And pressure must be released, or it breaks the system. So adaptation is not optional. It is survival. But adaptation must be controlled, because uncontrolled change creates instability. So once again, balance. Between control and flexibility. Between stability and evolution. Between order and freedom. Because that tension never disappears. It only shifts. And this is the final insight. Power is not permanent. It is maintained, continuously, relentlessly, through discipline, through structure, through alignment. And the moment that maintenance stops, power begins to fade. Not instantly, but inevitably. Because power is not what you control today. It is what continues when you are no longer there. And that is the highest form of power. Not visibility, not dominance, not noise, inevitability. A system so well designed, it sustains itself. That is the psychology of engineered power.